She won't understand a word. Just watch. The billionaire leaned back in his chair, smirking at his guest as he muttered insults in Arabic toward the waitress. Laughter rippled around the table. The young woman stood still, her eyes lowered, her tray trembling slightly in her hands. To everyone else, she looked powerless. But then she lifted her head, and what came out of her mouth froze the billionaire in his seat. The ballroom glowed with chandeliers, golden light dancing across marble floors polished to perfection. It was a charity gala hosted by Khalid Al-Mansur, a billionaire oil magnate known as much for his arrogance as his wealth. The city's elite filled the tables, champagne flutes clinking as they laughed at jokes that weren't funny and applauded speeches that lacked substance. For the servers, weaving through the crowd, it was another long night. Black uniforms, polished trays, smiles that hid exhaustion. Among them was Amara Johnson, a young black woman working double shifts to save for her nursing degree. Her movements were steady, graceful, her face calm even as her feet ached, but Khalid noticed her not with kindness, not with respect, with the cold amusement of a man who believed service staff existed for entertainment. He leaned toward his companions, fellow businessmen in tailored suits, and whispered in Arabic, his tone mocking. Look at her. Probably can't even spell her own name. Worthless girl. She serves because she has no brain. His guest chuckled, emboldened by his arrogance. Amara's tray trembled slightly as she poured a glass of wine. She heard every word. What Khalid didn't know was that Amara wasn't just a waitress. She had spent years abroad. She had studied languages with a passion, driven by her grandmother saying, "Every tongue you learn is a key. One day, you'll unlock a door no one else can open." Arabic was one of those keys, polished, fluent, and now burning on. Her tongue. She lowered her eyes, let the laughter roll over her like water. And then, with quiet dignity, she straightened her back, looked Khalid directly in the eye, and answered in perfect, flawless Arabic. A man with wealth but no respect is poorer than the one serving him food. The room went silent. The guests froze, glasses mitter. The smirks faded from their faces. Khalid's own laughter died in his throat as if choked off by invisible hands. His dark eyes widened, his mouth opening, closing, searching for words he couldn't find. Amara didn't flinch. Her voice carried, smooth and strong, echoing across marble walls, and by the way, she added, still in Arabic, "My name is Amara. It means grace. Something money clearly couldn't buy you." Gasps rippled across the table. One of the businessmen sputtered. Another lowered his head, ashamed. Across the room, other guests craned their necks, whispering, recording with hidden phones. Khalid, who had built an empire on intimidation, had just been humbled by the very woman he mocked. For a long, heavy moment, the only sound was the hum of chandeliers and the pounding of Khalid's pride shattering. Then, slowly, applause began. It started with a single guest at a nearby table, clapping quietly, respectfully. Then another joined, and another. Within seconds, the ballroom filled with thunderous applause, not for Khalid, not for his wealth, but for Amara's dignity, her brilliance, her courage. Khalid's face flushed crimson. His fingers tightened around his wineglass until it trembled. He wanted to lash out, to reclaim control, but he couldn't. Not here. Not now. Not after the entire room had seen him for what he truly was. Amara simply placed the tray on the table, nodded politely, and turned to leave. She didn't need to stay for his response. She had already won. In the days that followed. The moment went viral. Guest recordings flooded social media. The billionaire mocking the waitress, and the waitress answering back fluently in his own language. Headlines blaze. Waitress silences billionaire in Arabic, and grace under fire. The woman who spoke truth to power. Support poured in. Language groups, universities, and even cultural organizations praised her. One university offered her a scholarship to finish her nursing degree. Job offers arrived, not for serving tables, but for translating, teaching, leading, and Khalid? His PR team scrambled, spinning, denying, apologizing. But the damage was done. His arrogance had been exposed. His billions powerless against a single woman's courage. One evening, weeks later, Amara walked home from her shift, no longer in a waitress uniform, but in a crisp blazer, a scholarship acceptance letter tucked into her bag. She passed a small cafe where the television replayed the clip. She paused, listening as the anchor repeated her words. A man with wealth but no respect is poorer than the one serving him food. She smiled softly. Her grandmother had been right. Every language was a key. And that night, she had unlocked respect, dignity, and opportunity, all with the turn of a phrase. That night in the ballroom proved something powerful. Arrogance always assumes silence means ignorance. But silence often hides strength. Amara's dignity turned humiliation into triumph, reminding the world that true wealth isn't measured in money. It's measured in respect. What about you? Do you believe arrogance always collapses when faced with truth? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more cinematic stories of hidden heroes, justice, and the strength found in silence.